Hello again, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Tales from a Struggling Indie Writer. I'm your host, Julius Freeman, the Struggling Indie Writer Extraordinaire, coming at you once again with this video series. Now, I know I promised you the tales of the Ghetto Dragon and how I produced that, how I came up with it, developed it, and all that stuff, but I decided to hold off on that video for the next one because I wanted to complete the trilogy for Vigilant FURY because I've missed out. I've totally forgot about the final process, the final video, which is the collaboration process between writer and artist. The collaboration process is, well, it deserves its own video, especially for those who are starting out, whether you're an artist or a writer. It's always good to get ahead of what the collaboration process is and what it can be and when it shouldn't be. So I will go into more detail about that in a later video. Now, if you want me to do that, then leave a comment. Let me know that you're curious to know about the collaboration process, how it works, and all that stuff. But for now, today's video will be mainly about Vigilant FURY. And in the last video, I spoke about how I sent out feelers on Twitter looking for an artist to draw Vigilant FURY once I had developed the story, and what happened when Gambino won out on the search, and how he and I worked together. He sketched out characters, and I developed the script, and I ended up ballooning to 80 pages when originally it was supposed to be 40. And him being the trooper and all that. So I want to, I guess, elaborate on that a little bit more. I wanted to give more detail as to what that process was about. Now, one of the main rules that I have as a writer is if the artist isn't excited to draw the story you wrote, then you hired the wrong artist. Now, what do I mean by that? What I mean is I've worked in comics long enough to experience working with artists who just took the job because it was a paid gig. And mind you, I do pay my artists. I do. That's one of my golden rules. If the artist I hired to draw my story isn't excited to draw it, then I hired the wrong artist, because what tends to happen is the artist doesn't have their heart put into the project. They're just doing it for the dollar, which is fine with me. It's nothing wrong with that, by the way. Okay, I'm not saying that artists should embrace every story they draw. No, 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 not at all. That's just my own personal rule. What I do is I tend to pitch the story to the artist, and if I don't sense a excitement or anything that involves like, oh, I want to draw this, like I'm really excited to draw this, please consider me, that kind of thing. Not pleading or begging, all right? So don't confuse the two. I just need to see genuine excitement. And Gambino had it when I presented him the story. He was all about it. He was excited about it. He was looking forward to it. He had ideas that he presented to me, which is another indicator of someone being excited, is when they start giving you like, well, what about this? What about this idea? Or can we do this? Can we try this? Can we try that? That's what you want in the collaboration process. And that's what I got with Gambino, thankfully. He's very serious about his work. He really does want to prove to everyone that he belongs. And he does belong. He's very active. He's very involved in the process. Once we got the T's crossed and the I's dotted, and we signed on the dotted line on the agreement of delivering this project, we got to work, right? So I wrote the script. He read it. He came to me and says, we can't cut this. Like I said in the previous video, I wrote the script. It was originally 40 pages, but as I kept editing the script, more pages got added on. 40 went to 50, and 50 to 60, and 60 ultimately to 80. And when he read the script, with my hope that he could find a way to cut it and make it work, he realized that it has to be 80 pages. Even though Anthony, Mr. Gambino, wasn't happy that he had to draw 80 pages, which is the first time he's ever drawn anything more than like 10 pages of a comic book. He took on the challenge, and not only did he take on the challenge, he was excited to take on the challenge, which is what you want as a writer. That's what you want. You want that. You want that enthusiasm. But let's head it on. Let's take it. Let's face it. Let's do it. And that's what Gambino was all about, which was fantastic. And as we worked on it, we were talking about what the look of the book was going to be, because I I wanted to be black and white. That was my intention when I finished the script. I was like, this book has to be black and white. I don't want it to be in color because it was an artistic choice, mainly because of the subject matter, how heavy it was. And we had this idea of making the blood red, but some other project that I came across to already was doing that. And I didn't want to, I didn't want to copy that because they got to it first and they're doing a great job with it, by the way. It's Avalon Comics. They're doing a zombie comic. Shout out to Avalon Comics for that. But so I decided, no, let's not do that. As Gambino and I went back and forth on the ideas of what Vigilant Fury should look like, we decided let's keep it black and white. Let's do Sin City. Not so much Sin City, the story, but the look, the aesthetic, the harsh black and white. That's it. No colors, no shading, just stark black and white. He started drawing as I revised the script, because even though we got to 80 pages, I still did some revisions. I cleaned up dialogue. I made sure panels flowed. I made sure the story beat remained in tune throughout the story. I made sure that everything was clear, kind of smoothed over, so that way when Gambino got to those pages, there will be no more editing, no more nothing. When I finalized the script, I asked him, which is also an important factor and also a rule of mine that I recommend every writer do the same. But again, every writer is different, right? But I personally like giving the artists that I work with a choice. So the choice I give every artist that I work with is, would you like me to write a detailed script or a loose script? Now, what's a detailed script and what's a loose script? Well, a detailed script, it's a script where everything in terms of directing, everything in terms of camera angles, camera shots, facial expressions, all that stuff is written down in a description of the panel. Pretty much like a paragraph long description of every panel that's written, what kind of panel it is, small, large, wide, whatever, and the descriptions within the panel, or a loose script where I just put page in panel 1 in the description of what happens in the panel, and then the artist gets the choice of whether or not what kind of panel they want to draw, small, large, whatever. Gambino, bless his heart, he says, give me a loose script. He appreciated the fact that I gave him the choice. Again, some artists like being told what to draw and some artists don't. And so that's why I decided to always give the artist a choice, of how they want to approach the story and how they want to present it. And he chose a loose script, and it's been great because after that he sent me thumbnails, and during the thumbnail process, that's when I would look at the thumbnails and I could edit the thumbnails. I could ask him, oh, let's change this panel here, let's change this facial expression here, let's change this angle here, it's not really working, and back and forth we went. And sometimes he changes them, sometimes he doesn't, but that's part of the process, right? It's nothing personal. It's just sometimes there may be some things that I may not understand. And a lot of the times, actually, Gambino would explain to me why it needs to be this angle or why this shot needs to be this way, and he would explain himself, and it would work. It'd be like, okay, it makes sense. All right, let's keep it then. And that's the flow. That's the way I like to work with artists. I like to, have fun. And even though this story was developed by me, and that was another rule that I did give Gambino, which was, we can't change the story. Once the story is set in stone, we can't change it. We could maybe have some liberties here and there in some few pages, but when it comes to plot and character development, can't change it. It's got to stay intact. And he was fine with that. So it worked out beautifully. This whole process, this whole journey has been great because making comic books is a not only a passion of mine, it's something that I want to do for a living. I really do. I have a lot of ideas, a lot of stories in the works. It's just that, as the title of this video series is called, it's a struggle. It really is a struggle because when you don't have the name notoriety, it's very difficult to sell your book. You really have to work a lot harder to push yourself out there, to put yourself out there, to sell your product, not only sell your product and your book, but yourself as a human being, you're the person, the individual. And that's been a struggle for me because I'm an introvert, which is the reason why I had a hiatus on my channel, because I really didn't know who I wanted to present myself as. Should I be a character? Should I be a gimmick? And then finally I was like, no, just be yourself. And that's what I'm doing here. I'm just being myself. I'm sharing with you the struggles that I've had in the 10 plus years. And I'm going to have a ton of stories of me having fallouts with artists, of me working with great artists who went on to do great things. And what I mean by great things, I'm talking about they work for Marvel now. They've done stuff for DC. So it's been a journey, guys. It really has been. And I wanted to showcase the artwork, because the last thing I want to share of this collaboration was when we decided to do a stark black and white. We got the Indiegogo, set up. We planned the strategy. Okay, here's what we're going to do to sell the product, sell the crowdfunding campaign. And we did it, man. We went out. We went to every YouTube channel we could. Kudos to Bancroft, Michael Bancroft, shouting him out. He really gave us a big bump because we were struggling there. We were struggling there for a while. And then Michael Bancroft was nice enough to have me on his channel. And that really gave us a boost. And also 80s Made, another YouTube channel who had us on the show. He helped reach our goal. And so I'm forever grateful to Michael Bancroft and 80s Made, because they really did help push the project, to hit the goal. But something interesting happened in the middle of or close to the end of the campaign. Gambino did a piece for oh gosh, I forget his name. Excuse me for forgetting your name. But he's also a comic book writer. He's a writer of I think it's Void Walker, I believe it's called, for Alterna. I don't know if it's still on Alterna or not. But he did a piece, Gambino did a piece, a commission piece, where he used inkwash. And the piece looked phenomenal. And so I messaged Gambino and I was like, dude, how come you didn't tell me you did inkwash? This looks fantastic. We could have done Vigilant FURY and inkwash. And that's when he messaged me back saying, I didn't know I could do inkwash either. It was my first attempt. I watched a few YouTube videos and I gave it a shot and it came out great. And I was like, dude, what the hell? When that happened, we made the decision to make Vigilant FURY inkwash. So now that was a little problem, is that, well, we sold this book as a stark black and white comic book. Now it's going to be inkwash. And Gambino was like, let's do it. I mean, what's the worst that can happen? They get mad that we made the book look better. So he had a good point. And that's what we did. Now Vigilant FURY finalized in the end, in the third iteration of the story I wrote, and the collaborative process that Gambino and I have been working together on for the past year. Yeah, Vigilant FURY is an inkwash, and the book looks fantastic. And to summarize and to end on this note, just remember, guys, dreams do come true if you put the work in reality. Let me repeat that again. Dreams do come true if you put in the work in reality. I had a vision. I had a dream of this story. This story was a story that I wanted to write about a character escaping their captivity. That's what I wanted to write. And I went through 3 iterations of it. The third one hit. The third one stuck. The third one worked for me. It worked for Gambino. Everything came together nicely. The whole point of this series is not to just talk about my struggles. I mean, yeah, that's going to be a large part of it. But I hope what you get from this is that hard work does pay off if you just put in enough effort into it. And if you're grateful, and if you're grateful at the opportunity to do what you love. And that's what this is all about. I'm grateful at the opportunity that I get to make comic books. Yeah, sure, I don't work for Marvel. I don't work for DC. I never had anything published by Image or Dark Horse. But that doesn't mean it still can't happen. One day, hopefully, I do get published by Image and Dark Horse. And hopefully one day I do get to work for Marvel and DC. I wouldn't mind that either. The fact and the point is this: I love making comic books. I love comic books. When I was 12, when I started reading them, I never liked reading. I was a 90s TV kid. I just watched TV and movies. That's all I wanted. I sucked at school. I hated writing and I hated reading. Can you believe that? But the reason why I'm writing and reading now is because of comic books. This medium, this storytelling medium is can offer so much. And the fact that I was able to come up with an idea, make it into a concept, develop it into a plot in the story, and then finalize it after developing and doing a bunch of editing and edits. I found an artist, and I worked with this artist, and we got work together, and now we're friends, which is great. And here we are, Vigilant FURY, which is only about 8 pages left before we're done. That's amazing. And I just want to, and I'm hoping that this series, if you are a struggling writer yourself, or you're thinking about writing, I hope these videos will help you. I hope these videos will inspire you to keep on going and not give up. Because there's a few times where I did want to give up and do something else entirely, but thankfully my wife, who knows how hard I've worked to get here, kept me, she kept pushing me, which I'm grateful for too. And now we have a beautiful daughter with a second one on the way, a growing family. And now I'm making videos. I'm making YouTube videos. I'm sharing you my personal stories of how, my struggle as an indie writer. But here we are. So with that said, guys, just remember, dreams do come true, again, if you put in the work in reality. And so in the next video, I'll be talking about the creation of the Ghetto Dragon, which is, I hope, my staple. That's my book, the book. That's the book that I hope defines me as a writer, because I've worked real hard and real long on this, on the Ghetto Dragon project. So in the next video, I'll talk about the Ghetto Dragon, in the same deal like I did with this one. I'm going to start with the origin tale as to how I came up with the idea, what sparked it. And from there is a long journey as to how I ended up with what I have now in the Ghetto Dragon. So if you like these kind of stories, if you want to know more, if you want to support, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button or dislike button, makes no difference to me. Let me know in the comments what you think of the video. Hit the notification bell, and we'll see you in the next one. I have a lot of stuff in the pipeline for you guys, and I hope you guys join me in this journey so that I can show you guys that even though it's taken me 10 years to get to this point, I'm here, and that's what matters. With that said, guys, you guys take care. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.